Hey everybody, thanks for watching. I'm going to go over this new Bowie knife I've made. It's called the Harrier. Similar in design to the red tail. But see, the red tail, kind of like the red tail hawk, it's a little bit more broader, looks a little more powerful. The Harrier is a little bit longer and slightly more sleek. So it kind of reflects their avian namesake there. So pretty much the same design with that little crest there and the Bowie point. In the brass guard, this one's just a little bit more shorter, a little bit more utility oriented. This is a little bit longer, slightly more combatives oriented. So I've got a previous video on the red tail if you want to see that. Check it out on the channel. Anyway, what's this knife like? Well, of course it's hand forged from 1095 high carbon steel. It's got a 7.5 inch cutting edge, 8 inches overall to the guard. You can see the Hamon line on there, and it's further tempered back. So this part up here isn't all brittle. This is tempered and annealed up through there, making it fairly soft, and of course there's a hardened edge. So that's gonna be really durable. It's gonna cut really well. You'll see it's kind of got that continuous curve, not quite as exaggerated as the red tail, but it's still there, which means it's just always gonna engage material and cut really well. It cuts at a nice shallow angle, and you can just take nice swaths. This is like cutting cheese right here. Just real nice. And then you can get those cuts even out to the tip. A lot of times knives towards the tip diminish in their ability to cut because they do not have a proper taper. This does have a proper taper towards that tip, allowing you to cut real nicely right out to the tip. So this one is 13.5 ounces. It's not sharpened for a back cut, but if it was, that'd be an insane back cut attack there. It really, because of the weight that's out there, because of the thinness of the handle here, and that catch there, when you do the mechanics of a back cut with the, as you probably know you can do with a Bowie knife, it just works really well. So this one's not set up for it, but if you wanted to get one, I could easily sharpen that spine and make this much more combative in nature. So that's the blade. Of course, it's got the convex grind that I always put on my knives. You can see another video I've got on my channel about why that's such an advantage for edge holding, for durability, and for just cutting performance. Again, I always like to demonstrate this. Normally the parts of the knife that cut the worst is the very, very tip because it's so thick an edge. I'll put that out to the very tip there, see that? And I can just pull right through it. And of course, the further back I go, the better that cut's gonna be. So this just crunches through rope and chops and slices through everything else. You've got that nice decorative jimping that goes all along down through the tang there. Doesn't really add anything to the feel. It just looks real nice, especially when it's mounted in the sheath. Hang at your side. You get to show off that super cool jimping. That looks really neat. Of course, a centered point, centered in the overall axis of the knife, which is important if you're ever thrusting, if you're talking combatives. If you're not talking combatives, it's just nice to have it there so you can, bore a little circle. Or if you're carving like that and you're rotating, cutting out a bowl for something. Look at this, I'm gonna get carried away and wanna start cutting myself a nice little spoon. You can use that for bushcraft, it's pretty amazing. Be careful when doing this, of course, but anyway, the tip's centered, it's comfortable to use. You can do little stuff like that. Make all your bushcraft notches, everything you want to do. So that's good for everyday utility, and that's also good for combatives. Moving back then. This is a brass guard, just like the other. It's fairly low profile. It's not going to get snagged on stuff. It's totally dehorned. Just super comfortable, like a bar of soap all around. Just feels nice and smooth. Doesn't abrade the hand at any angle. I can throw my thumb over. I can do whatever I want there. Really comfortable. And that just adds that extra measure of protection so your fingers are never gonna slide up on the blade, and you can use the jimping there for a little bit extra purchase with your thumb. Back beyond that, this is a bloodwood handle. That's actually what adds to a good amount of the weight. Bloodwood's super dense, super heavy wood. Also looks really cool when it darkens. It just gets darker and darker, that deep red color. And that's an ergonomic handle as well. You've got essentially two sections. You can grab that and go up close, choked up. Again, if you're doing stuff like this. Or you can choke back if you want to chop with it, and it chops really well. Just because of, again, the thickness of that spine and the way the edge is designed. And you just kind of hold it in the middle, but it's comfortable. With any handle, you've got a compromise between security and freedom and safety and some danger. So a knife that has the most freedom would just be a handle like this. You can hold it any way you want to, reverse grip. You can even hold it sideways. You literally hold it any way you want to. But it'd be dangerous because there's no grip and you could slide up onto the edge, right? So that's full freedom and full versatility. And then picture your World War II trench knife. You had no freedom. You had to hold it in one way because it literally went around each finger. No freedom and very little versatility with how you hold it. You pretty much had to hold it that way, but you weren't going to drop it. And every knife handle is a compromise between the freedom and the security, rather the safety and the security, and in the freedom to hold, and then it dictating how you hold. So this here is a good little mixture of both. This gives you a little bit of security in the grip, a little bit of security back there so it doesn't go flying out of your hand when you're chopping with it. A little security right there with the guard, but not so much that you can still hold it in a versatile number of ways. I like to hold the accipiter here like this quite a bit. I put my finger over there and I'll do some cutting like this, and that's just really comfortable. And you can do the same thing with this knife here. You can hold it reversed like that, and you could pull through something like that, or like this here. Put your finger on top if you're cutting food. All sorts of ways to hold it while providing a good level of security. So what else here? Notice the taper. It's a lot thinner there and thicker, thinner to there. So it's got that full distal taper, which gives it some nice balance, and the balance is just a squink in front of the guard. And just a literal squink in front of the guard. That's where the balance is. So again, that says 13.5 ounces. This would be a great knife for outdoors use, camp knife, good fighting knife. If you want it to be that, I would EDC it. I wouldn't hesitate to EDC it just because I like bigger blades. And do all sorts of things. Great for around the yard work, just good heavy duty work. Now, what's the sheath like? Well, I love the sheath. Just looks sweet. It is 8 to 9 ounce veg tanned. I dyed it. I oiled it, wet formed it, hand stitched, burnished the edges, rounded the edges so it's again smooth like a bar of soap. Retention, this one's really tight. In fact, you probably want it to loose up a little bit because it can be hard to get out. So I'm trying to loosen up before it goes out to the customer. But fairly straightforward. I've got the retention lips that I'm liking right here. Retention lips on either side, and then just permanently mounted on strap here. So this goes right to your belt. Just like a more traditional American style sheath. But it, you don't have to remove your belt, which obviously everyone hates doing. So yeah, it's just like that, snapped, and there it is. You get out on your camping trip. Now I do find that this is actually a lot better for winter carry because I can access it easier like that. So that's something I'm learning here because you know, I like this style, but it's harder to get at in the winter. If you try to do like this, and the cold air gets underneath, it makes you all cold. So that's a nice little data point for you. So there it is. And again, it's easy to take off. So there is your nice looking Harrier. Again, compare it to the also very nice looking, I like them both, red tail. Yeah, there they are together. So they're kind of cool. Let me know if you'd like one. I can make one for you. And you know, we could talk pricing. Maybe we could knock a couple bucks off. You don't have to get it with the guard. Guard costs extra. You don't have to get it with this kind of polish. So you could, you know, mess with the price a little bit. But yeah, they're great. Love Bowie knives. Hope you guys enjoyed these. And any questions, put them down in the comment. Any comments, surprise, also put them down in the comments. And I'd love it if you would click like and click subscribe. We'll be coming out with more videos of this nature, let you know what's going on here in the forge. Thanks for visiting today.